Welcome to another movement with Fortress. Thank you guys for joining in today. As you can see, I have my rings here that are in my garage setup. So as far as things that we may need for today's movement, we need some type of wall space, as well as some type of support system. In this case, I have rings that are attached to my pull-up bar. This could be, as well as maybe a bedpost, something that is very sturdy, or even the threshold of a doorway, something that you can grasp onto. That would be a perfect setup using the threshold of the doorway inside your house. So today's focus is going to be more on the lower body or the hips. The hips are very strongly correlated to the lower back. So we have to always pay attention to not only the lower back, but also hip movement, especially this, what we call this internal rotation of the hip. So that's going to be one of the main focuses today. Couple different movements here on my whiteboard. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 different movements that are going to target the hip joint. And again, pending your time constraints, this is definitely a great opportunity to add in some additional reps and sets as needed as you see fit. So today's first movement is sitting at the bottom of a squat, but the back is against the wall. So I'm just gonna move this out of the way for a moment. So we're gonna sit at the bottom of our squat with our back abrupt against the wall. And I'll explain these 2 different movements that occur in this position, and then we'll use the rings for our next movement, and then lastly, just space so that we can get into the hamstrings. So find your wall space. And our goal is to be in a comfortable squat. Let me scoot a little bit off to the side here, where our back is supported, right, in a good upright position. Let me get a little bit closer. So my heels have to be just a bit closer to the wall. My feet are slightly angled as how my morphology or how my anatomy is built. So our first movement, we're going to use our hands for support, a little bit wider support into our feet. And we're just going to try to maintain our back abrupt against the wall, but we're going to drive one knee inwards towards what we call midline and then back out. You're just going to alternate that. We're going to do 10, 5 on the right, 5 on the left. So again, I'm using my hands for support. I'm not letting my back come off against the wall. I'm really trying to get into this, what we call this internal rotation of the hip, which is commonly limited in the human body, or at least the patients and the athletes that I work with. I think I got maybe about one more after each of these. Last one here on the left. So we're gonna continue to stay in this position. You might have to readjust your feet, maybe get a little bit closer, something where you can kind of find some balance. And all we're gonna do is kind of put one hand inside of the thigh. The opposing arm is gonna reach overhead. And then we're just gonna alternate that. And really trying to not let our legs, as we were before, dump in. That's why I like to kind of use the arm to block that and really focus on this mid-back rotation. So we're going to do a total of 10, 5 on the right, 5 on the left. I think I got 2 more. And I'm also kind of focusing on keeping my hips like active and not like dumping down into my squat, right? I'm pushing into the wall. I'm driving my knees out. I'm gonna do 2 more on each side. And my eyes are just following my hands. Last one here. Gently come out of that position. That's a long position to be in the squat pattern. Okay, so this is where we're going to get into perhaps the threshold of a doorway, something that you can hang on to. So envision if this was a doorway, I would hang on to the threshold. In this case, I'm going to use my rings because this is what is appropriate for me right now. So we're going to get into this wide stance, almost this sumo stance. So this is what I would be looking like from the side. All right, my toes are a little bit more angled out. And we're going to get into this movement called the cossack squat. We're going to do a total of 10, 5 on the right, 5 on the left, but we're going to use our hand for support because the goal is to get into this, what we call this deep hip flexion, deep hip or deep knee flexion, and ankle dorsiflexion. So all of these 3 joints are supposed to bend. And we really need to try to tap into furthering that motion. So a good, I guess, key would be, can you approximate your hamstring muscles to the back of your calf muscles without the heels coming up off the floor? So we're gonna do 10 alternating cossack squats using support with my rings that I have here. So this is what it looks like. We're gonna do 5 on the right, 5 on the left. I like to kind of hold my opposing arm on the support. And you can see my straight leg, well, my bent leg in this position. I'm a little bit limited. I have some ankle, But as I bend to this other side, this leg that's straight, that's okay if the foot comes up, but I want to maintain heel contact. I'm just really trying to get deeper and deeper, using hands as needed for support. See, my heel comes up on that end. As I'm driving up, I'm using my arm to help pull me up. I'm gonna do 1 more on each side. Cool. All right. Lastly, for today's movement series, elephant walks. We're going to do 10 on the right, 10 on the left. So basically, this is a forward fold hamstring stretch, but we're kind of like flossing the muscle / nerve. And you should feel some gnarly or a lot of stretch strain, kind of like where the butt cheek meets the hamstring, or sometimes, I guess, where your underwear line meets into the butt cheek. That's really the target area. So I'll show you from the front. Feet shoulder width. I'm gonna bend forward with my knees bent first. Hands are flat on the ground if you can get there. And all I'm going to do is maintain a neutral neck. And I'm gonna gently straighten my right knee while my left knee stays bent. That's 1. And I'm gonna repeat on the opposite leg. That's 1. So I'm gonna do 10 on the right, 10 on the left. I'll do 5 facing you guys. And you're just gonna kind of floss back and forth. Bend, straighten, straighten. As things kind of loosen up, then you can kind of like flex your neck I'm gonna turn to the side so you guys can see me. So again, finishing up my last couple reps here. I'm just gonna kind of bend forward with my knees bent. I'm gonna flex my neck, just kind of let it hang. I'm gonna gently straighten my left knee. Oh, nice little stretch. Come out of that. Gently straighten my right knee. As things kind of loosen up, then I can like bend my neck a little bit more and more. So, pressure on, pressure off. Pressure on, pressure off. All right, so that concludes today's routine. Again, that is sitting at the bottom of the squat, back against the wall, getting into that hip internal rotation, 10 reps, 5 on the right, 5 on the left. Still continuing to stay at the bottom of the squat with your back against the wall. Thoracic reaches, and then standing up with that ring support or into your threshold, alternating cossack squats, 5 on the right, 5 on the left, and then ending with 10 alternating, 10 on the right, 10 on the left, elephant walks.